Gentlemen, let me ask you something honestly. Do you really think that at this point in life, the only thing women care about is a man with a huge bank account, luxury cars, or the thick hair he had in his 20s? If that is what you believe, take a moment and question it. That idea is not reality. It is simply a story that has been repeated to men for years. And when a story is repeated often enough, it begins to feel like truth, even when it is not. The reality most people overlook is that something far more powerful than money or physical appearance exists. Many men over 60 already have it, yet they rarely recognize its value or use it intentionally. When you begin to understand and apply it, women, including younger women, start responding to you differently. This shift does not require surgery, flashy status symbols, or miracle supplements. It only requires a simple daily habit that takes around 12 minutes. Stay with what is feminine inside me, because I will show you the mindset change that makes women naturally lean in, start conversations, and seek your attention, while many other men your age keep exhausting themselves trying to compete in a game built for younger men. Before we go any further, I want to ask for something small from you. If you are genuinely interested in rebuilding your confidence and attracting women without relying on tricks or gimmicks, take a second to press the like button and leave a comment telling me where you are watching from. I always enjoy seeing men from different parts of the world joining this conversation. And if you find these insights valuable, make sure you subscribe as well. Every week on Feminine Insight, I share research-based perspectives that many doctors and experts rarely talk about. We explore topics related to attraction, vitality, confidence, and how men can maintain strong energy, presence, and connection with others even after 60. This space is about helping you rediscover the power you already have, not convincing you that you need to become someone else. Now, let us break apart one of the biggest myths society keeps repeating. There is a common belief that once a man reaches 60, he becomes invisible to women, unless he owns a sports car, a yacht, or the fame of a celebrity. That idea is simply not true. I have personally worked with men in their 60s and 70s who attracted genuine interest from women 20 or even 30 years younger, and it was not because of their wealth or cosmetic procedures. What drew women toward them was something much deeper: psychological attraction. The truth is, what attracts women that women are not lacking young, attractive men around them. In many cases, they are surrounded by them. What many women actually long for is maturity. They are tired of dealing with men who feel insecure, constantly seek approval, or behave as if they must prove their worth. The advantage you already have is real. The problem is that most men were never shown how to use it. For those who may be new here, let me briefly introduce myself. My name is Lauren Ponce, and over the past several years, my work has focused on men's health, relationships, and personal vitality. I have spent a lot of time studying how men can rebuild confidence and reconnect with their social and romantic lives later in life. One thing that often surprises people is how powerful a man's presence can become after 60, when he learns to use the strengths that come with experience. Younger men often cannot replicate that energy easily. They are still figuring out who they are, still chasing validation, and still trying to prove their value to others. You, however, outcome independents, have lived through decades of experience. You have created things, lost things, learned lessons from both success and failure, and endured challenges that shape character. That depth creates a quiet strength. It is the difference between a steady, grounded man and a restless young boy, still searching for himself. So what exactly is the principle that changes the entire dynamic of attraction? It is something called outcome independence. When you truly embody this mindset, women sense it almost immediately. But before we talk about how to develop it, let us first look at one of the biggest mistakes many men over 60 still make. The first mistake is chasing instead of attracting. Many men continue to behave exactly as they did decades earlier. They try to impress women, show off their accomplishments, or sometimes even display their money in hopes of appearing more desirable. From a how women detect desperation, biological and emotional perspective, this approach often works against them. Women are extremely good at detecting desperation or insecurity. When a man tries too hard to prove himself, it communicates that he does not fully believe in his own value. It also forces him to spend unnecessary time and energy attempting to validate something that should never require validation in the first place. The better alternative is learning to develop outcome independence. Instead of seeking approval from women, you focus on building a genuine sense of contentment with yourself and your life. When that internal shift happens, the energy you project begins to change naturally. You become calmer, more grounded, and less concerned about how every interaction turns out. Interestingly, this is exactly the type of presence that women find intriguing. Confidence that is not desperate for validation has a magnetic quality. Women begin to feel more comfortable approaching you, starting conversations, or showing curiosity about you. In just a moment, I will explain the simple 12-minute daily exercise that helps train your mind to develop this state consistently. But the second mistake. First, we need to talk about another mistake that quietly undermines many men without them even realizing it. The second mistake is tying your sense of self-worth to whether a woman approves of you or not. This is a trap that countless men fall into, often without recognizing it. When a man's confidence rises and falls based on a woman's reaction to him, he unknowingly gives away his power. If she responds positively, he feels confident. If she seems distant or uninterested, his confidence disappears. This emotional dependency creates subtle pressure in every interaction. Women can sense it even if nothing is spoken directly. True confidence, however, comes from a different place. It grows when a man understands that his value is not defined by someone else's approval. When you reach that point, your presence becomes calm and self-assured. And ironically, that is when attraction begins to happen naturally, rather than being forced. The moment you begin asking yourself questions like, am I still attractive? Or do I still have what it takes? You quietly hand your sense of worth over to someone else. That shift might seem small, but it has powerful effects. On a biological level, doubt triggers stress hormones, and that tension subtly changes the way you carry yourself. Your posture tightens, your voice becomes uncertain, and your overall presence starts to feel uneasy. Emotionally, it creates the impression that you are seeking approval rather than simply enjoying the moment. Socially, it weakens your position before the interaction even begins. When a man enters a conversation already worrying about how he is being judged, it shows in small ways he may not even notice. He begins monitoring every reaction, measuring every expression, and trying too hard to manage the outcome. Women sense that pressure, the real shift, quickly, and it disrupts the natural flow of connection. The real shift happens when you stop linking your value to someone else's response. Your worth does not increase because someone approves of you, and it does not decrease because someone is indifferent. When you recognize the life you have built, the independence you carry, and the experiences that shaped you, a different type of confidence begins to appear. It is calm, steady, and grounded. Women notice this immediately because it feels authentic. They see a man who is comfortable with himself and does not require constant reassurance. At the same time, he remains open to genuine connection. That balance is incredibly appealing. It communicates strength without arrogance and openness without neediness. When a man carries that internal stability, his presence becomes far more attractive than someone who is constantly trying to prove himself. Another common mistake many men make later in life is trying to compete in areas where youth naturally has the advantage. Some attempt to mimic younger trends by coloring their hair, buying flashy accessories, or pushing themselves excessively in the gym in hopes of looking decades younger. But the truth is simple. You are not 35 anymore, and that is not a disadvantage. In fact, it can be one of your greatest strengths. From a natural perspective, many women are not searching for someone who still behaves like a boy. They are drawn to stability, composure, and emotional maturity. A man who understands himself and no longer feels the need to chase approval offers a sense of calm that many find deeply appealing. Instead of pouring energy into trying to reverse time, the smarter approach is to embrace the qualities that naturally come with experience. Quiet confidence, steadiness, and emotional balance often make a far stronger impression than youthful appearance ever could. So, how do you indifference activation protocol actually develop this mindset in daily life? One method I teach is something I call the indifference activation protocol. It is a short routine that takes about 12 minutes each day and helps train the mind to detach from constant validation seeking. The first step is a 3-in-1 exercise called contentment rehearsal. Sit somewhere quiet and imagine your life exactly as it is right now. No romantic attention, no outside praise, no one validating you. Simply picture your current life and allow yourself to feel satisfied with it. The goal is to teach your mind that your happiness does not depend on outside approval. The second step is 4 minutes of neutral visualization. Picture yourself talking with an attractive woman, but remove all expectations from the interaction. There is no goal of getting her number or asking for a date. You are simply enjoying a relaxed conversation. This self-recognition practice helps train your mind to stay present, rather than calculating outcomes. The final step is self-recognition. Taking just 5 minutes each day to reflect on your accomplishments, the challenges you've overcome, and the lessons those experiences taught you. This isn't about boasting or comparing yourself to others. It's about honoring your journey and the strength it has given you. When you consistently acknowledge your growth, your confidence becomes steady rather than fragile. Interestingly, the less you focus on trying to attract women, the more naturally appealing you become. People are drawn to those who are comfortable in their own skin. And when you stop forcing attention, your calm, self-assured presence becomes magnetic on its own. A real example, Frank, a 68-year-old client from New Jersey. One afternoon, he was quietly reading in a cafe, not trying to impress anyone. Within minutes, a 52-year-old woman approached him, and today they've been together for 2 years. What drew her in wasn't effort or performance, but the relaxed confidence he carried. His life felt full and her presence was simply a welcomed addition. This demonstrates a vital truth. Decades of experience, growth, and resilience create a natural attraction that younger men often lack. At this stage of life, presence matters, more than chasing validation. Women respond to the energy you bring. Your calm, composed, and grounded self communicates strength, curiosity, and authenticity, making meaningful connections far easier to form. True attraction doesn't come from flashy behavior or clever lines. It comes from being genuinely comfortable with who you are. Women notice your posture, tone of voice, breathing, and overall presence long before you speak. Approaching with tension or a need for approval sends subtle signals of anxiety, while calm confidence naturally lowers their guard. By developing outcome independence, you stop relying on external validation and begin generating steady internal confidence. This shift affects your body language, eye contact, and voice, making your presence feel grounded, approachable, and magnetic. Simple daily practices like mindful breathing and reflecting on your own worth can strengthen this mindset and project a calm, attractive energy. In today's noisy, overstimulated world, authentic presence stands out. A man in his 60s who carries emotional balance exudes silent leadership, responding thoughtfully, listening carefully, and remaining composed rather than trying to dominate or impress. This quiet stability communicates strength far more effectively than loudness or performance ever could. When maturity, calmness, and life experience align, attraction becomes effortless. Women feel relaxed, open, and drawn to such presence, forming deeper, more meaningful connections. This is the power of emotional mastery. It signals trustworthiness, steadiness, and confidence without chasing attention, making a man memorable at any stage of life.